Welcome to this video where we compare the most cruel medieval weapons. Hark and listen closely, for the stones themselves whisper tales of ages past. Can you hear the echo of steel, the clash of armies, the distant cries carried on the wind across centuries? These are not mere legends, but the very real sounds of a brutal epoch. The medieval era was not just castles and knights in shining armour as romanticised in ballads and stories. It was a time when cruelty became an art form, a dark necessity in the eyes of many, and survival a daily, desperate struggle against forces both human and environmental. Life was cheap, and death was often slow and agonising. Tonight, we journey into the deepest shadows of history, venturing into forgotten dungeons and blood-soaked battlefields to unveil the 10 most cruel weapons that haunted medieval Europe, instruments of torment that reflect the darkest aspects of the human soul. These were tools designed not just to kill swiftly, but to maim, to inflict lasting pain and suffering, to terrorize, to instill fear so profound it would linger long after the physical wounds had healed, and ultimately to break the spirit, to crush the will to resist, leaving victims hollow shells of their former selves. Steel your nerves, for what you are about to witness is not for the faint of heart. The countdown to cruelty begins now, a descent into the abyss of medieval brutality. We begin with the weapon that sits at number 10, a harbinger of the horrors yet to come. And now we reach number 10 on our countdown of history's most brutal weapons. It's the Morning Star, a weapon renowned for its pure, unadulterated blunt force trauma, a truly fearsome instrument of war. Imagine, if you will, a heavy iron ball, densely bristling with sharp, unforgiving spikes, each one designed to tear and rend. This brutal head is then securely mounted on a sturdy, often reinforced shaft, providing the wielder with reach and leverage. Unlike swords, which could be deflected, or arrows, which might glance off, the Morning Star crushed relentlessly through armour. It was capable of caving in helmets, delivering concussive blows, and shattering the bone beneath with terrifying ease. Its impact was devastating, often turning even the best and most meticulously crafted protection into a fatal liability for the wearer. On the chaotic and bloody battlefield, it didn't just kill efficiently, it obliterated with brutal force, leaving little room for survival. Reducing proud warriors, once full of strength and valour, to broken, unrecognisable wrecks in the mud and carnage. The Morning Star wasn't just a weapon, it was a brutal promise of a painful, concussive, and often swift end to any unfortunate soul who stood in its path. Let's delve into number 9, the flail, a weapon that embodies sheer, unbridled power. It is brutal chaos unleashed, a whirlwind of destruction in the hands of a warrior. At its core, the flail is a spiked head, a ball of metal and pain attached to a chain. This design allowed it to be whipped around shields, negating what was once a solid defense. The flail struck from unpredictable angles, making it incredibly difficult to anticipate its next move. Defending against it was nearly impossible. A shield was often rendered useless against its flailing trajectory. The chain let the weapon bypass armour and parries, finding gaps and weak points with ease. It was a nightmare for any armoured opponent. In skilled hands, it was more than just a weapon, it was a psychological weapon, a tool of fear. Its whistling chain and spinning spikes created a terrifying spectacle, a dance of death in the air. This display was often enough to break even seasoned soldiers' nerves, causing them to falter and lose their nerve. But its unpredictability made it dangerous for friend. A miscalculated swing could easily injure an ally and foe alike. No one was truly safe when a flail was in motion. The flail turned the battlefield into a lottery of survival, where skill and luck were intertwined in a deadly game. At number 8, the war scythe, a farmer's tool, reforged for slaughter. Its long, curved blade, mounted forward, became a weapon of terrifying reach and cutting power. Peasant levies wielded these in sweeping arcs, disemboweling and severing limbs, turning fields into scenes of carnage. The war scythe was rebellion made steel, a symbol of desperation and pure visceral violence. Number 7, the crossbow, a weapon that changed warfare forever. Unlike the longbow, it required little training, yet could pierce armor and kill a knight from afar. Its bolts caused devastating wounds, often leading to slow, agonizing deaths. The crossbow shattered the codes of chivalry, making war deadlier and more impersonal. It was the great equalizer, and for that, it was both feared and despised. At number 6, the halberd, a trinity of death on a long shaft. Combining spear, axe and hook, it could halt cavalry, hack through armor, and pull knights from their horses. Its versatility made it a nightmare for any opponent, offering no easy defense. The back hook was especially cruel, yanking nobles from their mounts to be finished on the ground. The halberd killed, humiliated, and dismantled the knightly advantage. Number 5, the trebuchet siege warfare's monstrous engine. It hurled massive stones, diseased carcasses, and even bodies over castle walls, spreading terror and plague. The psychological torment was relentless. The creak, the silence, the thunderous crash. The trebuchet didn't just break walls, it broke spirits, turning the sky into a weapon. It was destruction on a colossal, indiscriminate scale. At number 4, boiling oil, a weapon of pure agony from above. More often boiling water, sand or pitch, it was poured onto attackers scaling castle walls. The superheated liquid seeped through armor, causing horrific burns and trapping victims in their own protective gear. The screams and suffering demoralized all who heard or saw it. It didn't just kill, it made an example, turning the base of the wall into hell on earth. Boiling oil was a brutal, unforgettable defense. Number 3, the man-catcher, a device of capture and humiliation. A long pole with a spiked, spring-loaded collar, it was used to snare nobles alive for ransom. The spikes dug in, making escape impossible without injury. It reduced warriors to prizes, inflicting pain and stripping them of dignity. The man-catcher was a tool of profit, not mercy. Number 2, the sword-breaker, a dagger designed to destroy hope. Its notched blade trapped and snapped swords, leaving opponents disarmed and defenseless. In a duel, losing your sword meant panic and certain defeat. The sword-breaker shattered both weapons and spirits, turning the tide with a single twist. It was a dirty, devastating trick in the chaos of close combat. Number 1, the Iron Maiden, an icon of terror, more legend than reality. A human-shaped sarcophagus lined with spikes, it was designed for slow, torturous death. Though likely a later invention, its power as a symbol of cruelty endures. The Iron Maiden distills all the fear and brutality of the Middle Ages into one unforgettable image. Its greatest cruelty is the nightmare it still inspires. Our journey through history's armory of agony ends here. These weapons were not just tools of war, but instruments of terror and suffering. They remind us of the darkness in human history and the importance of never forgetting it. Which weapon chilled you the most? Let us know in the comments, and beware the shadows of history. They are always watching.